You ever feel like you're just a character in a movie you didn't even choose to watch? Especially right now, when the world feels so heavy. It feels like we're all playing a part we didn't write. But what if? What if you're not just some actor on the screen? What if you're actually in the projection room and you have the power to change the entire film? Well, today we're diving into that exact idea. A huge shift in how we see everything, the journey from ego to soul.
So let's just jump right into the deep end with this one. Really think about this question. We look at the world, we see all the chaos, the headlines, the stress, and our first thought is, the problem is out there. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the vast majority of our battles, the stress, the anger, the fear, what if they aren't actually caused by the world itself, but by the lens we're seeing it through?
To get a handle on that lens, we've got to meet the director of our own personal drama. And that director is the ego. The ego basically frames our entire life like a movie, where we're the main character and we're just constantly reacting to a plot that's already been written. But here's the thing, living that way is a total trap. It's like going to a movie and trying to fight the villains on the screen. It's exhausting, and in the end, you have zero power.
So what is this ego, really? Well, it's that narrator that's always going in our heads, right? It's the voice that tells us we're just this limited little thing. We're defined by our body, our job, all our past mistakes. And its number one strategy for everything? To struggle. It fights against the movie of life. It's always blaming other characters, getting mad at plot twists. It's literally trying to punch the shadows on the screen, never realizing that's all they are.
And this quote just nails the whole illusion perfectly. It comes from this great story about a guy in a movie theater who gets so angry about a storm happening in the film that he actually starts hitting the screen with his umbrella. And then a little kid just points out the obvious truth. Sir, the rain isn't on the screen, it's coming from the light behind you. That light, that's our inner state. Our judgments, our fears, our ego, that's the projector. We are casting the storms we experience in our own lives.
Okay, so if the ego is stuck out in the audience just fighting with the screen, then where is our real power? This is the turning point. It's the big reveal in our movie. It's about remembering that we aren't the character in the movie. We are the consciousness back in the projection room. And that is where all our power is. So it's time to meet your true self, the soul.
Just look at the difference here. It's black and white. On one side, you've got the ego. It thinks it's just a body, just a collection of memories. It sees itself as a victim who has to fight the world to survive. But the soul? Whoa. It knows it's part of something divine, something limitless, eternal. The soul doesn't fight the world because it understands it's the very source that creates the experience of the world. Shifting from that first column to the second, that's not just a small change in thinking. That's going from complete powerlessness to infinite power.
Now, this is not just some cool idea to think about. It's a practice. It's about actually training ourselves to live from the projection room instead of from the audience. And that's exactly what this challenge is all about. So think of it like a 21-day quest, a mission to take back your creative control and start living as your true limitless self.
So this quest, it only has 2 rules. And these rules, they're like the keys to the projection room, simple but incredibly profound. Rule number 1, true forgiveness. Now, this doesn't mean you're okay with bad behavior. Not at all. It means you recognize that most people are just acting out a script of pain or ignorance they don't even understand. They're like characters who have no idea they're in a movie. And rule number 2, do not judge. See, when you judge someone else, you're judging the movie on the screen, which just keeps you trapped in the illusion that you're a victim of it. The challenge is to look past that and try to see the divine spark in everyone, no matter how much mud is covering it up.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Because it's one thing to talk about these big ideas, but it's something else entirely to see them play out. So let's roll the tape on a couple of real stories from people who stepped into their own projection room and totally changed the movie.
Oh man, we have all been in this scene. This is Sarah. She's on her way to the biggest job interview of her life. And bam, someone cuts her off just super aggressively. Her ego instantly lights up. Her heart starts pounding, her hands are shaking, and her mind is just flooded with rage. The ego casts the other driver as the villain, who just single-handedly ruined her future. She's the victim, right? But then, Sarah remembers the rules. She takes a breath, and she makes a conscious choice to shift. Instead of a selfish jerk, she chooses to see a character who's just acting out a script of stress or maybe fear. She uses Rule 1 and Rule 2. She forgives his ignorance and refuses to judge him. And the result was wild. The second she sent that driver a feeling of peace, her own panic and anger, it just evaporated, gone, instantly.
And here's the kicker. This is the crucial part. Sarah walked into that interview not as a frazzled, angry victim of traffic, but as this calm, centered, powerful person. Just think about the different energy she brought into that room. The interviewer was so blown away by what they called her unshakable presence that she got the job right there on the spot. That wasn't luck. She changed her inner film, and the outside world literally had to rearrange itself to match the new scene she was projecting.
This gives us such a beautiful way to think about that second rule. Do not judge. There's a story of an old sage who was asked how he deals with really angry, hateful people. And he said, "I don't see an enemy. I see a beautiful diamond covered in a very thick layer of mud. The mud is their pain, their fear, their ego. Getting angry back at them is just fighting with the mud. So I choose to ignore the mud completely and speak only to the diamond underneath. By doing that, by speaking directly to the soul, eventually, the mud just falls away."
All right, let's bring it all home for the final scene. All the struggle we feel, all the storms we see playing out on the screen of our lives, they are not random. They're not from some cruel world out to get us. They are a direct reflection of the film we are playing from inside. The single biggest shift we can ever make is to stop trying to fix the shadows on the screen and instead just walk back into the projection room.
This is it. This is the truth that changes everything. You are not some powerless character getting tossed around by the plot. You are the light source. You are the projector. You are the artist creating the entire experience. What you hold inside, whether it's forgiveness or judgment, love or fear, that becomes the world you see.
So the question is no longer, how do I survive this movie called life? The real question is, knowing I'm the one in the projection room, what film am I going to choose to play next? Just remember this: you are powerful, you are divine, and you are free.